Hey guys, how's it going? Cyrus here, back with another episode. Today is, I guess, part two of virtualization. I talked about virtualization a lot, the basics of it in part one, and now we're going to go ahead and jump right into the networking of it. So networking with virtualized machines or virtualized platforms or environments, whatever you want to call it, is pretty different. At the same time, also similar in a lot of ways than cloud computing and networking with regular unvirtualized machines or platforms. So I'm back with my old buddy MS Paint, and I'm going to be drawing something else out for you guys. So a virtual machine is connected to your network. So let's call this the internet. You know, yes, I am very skilled at drawing with my mouse. So this internet, which is supposed to be a cloud and not a pile of goop, is connected to your router or modem or whatever. So let's just call this R, very fancy R. Um, so it's connected to your router, and your router, assuming that you have only like one network, right? And no proxies or anything by default, is connected to all of your home devices. All right, so we're just going to make like four little spheres. Uh, Again, not the greatest at drawing. So this is like the simplest model of the internet you can ever get. Okay, so this will be your smartphone. This will be your laptop. This is your desktop. Okay, desktop like that. I don't know. I feel weird with that right there. Kind of looks like a bee. Oh yeah, my cursor became thin again. I don't know how to fix that. Maybe it's bold. No, it's not that. Alright, whatever. Uh, let's see here. Alright, there we go. I guess that's. I hope this is gonna be good. Now, this last thing here. Let's call it a V for virtual machine. I'm gonna get to it in a second, and it's gonna be kind of important. So your virtual machine, although it seems like a separate entity, like your desktop or your laptop, let's say it's actually connected to your laptop with uh, a hypervisor, right? So let's actually let me remodel this. Um, so you can bring this back to your hypervisor. Okay, that's a very bad H that I drew, but bear with me. So you got your laptop that's connected to the internet regularly, and you got a hypervisor that creates a virtual machine on your laptop that is actually connected through the internet. Now, notice how I actually erased the connection between a virtual machine and the laptop. That's because I I would think that if I were to draw it like that, some of you might misunderstand and think that by connecting to my laptop, one can immediately connect to this virtual machine without actually having this virtual machine go online, which is false. It's completely false. I'm sorry I made that mistake. But now I cleared it up, so it's all good. So as I was saying, this virtual machine is running on this hypervisor, which you can, kind of, I guess, think of as a separate mini computer that is physically non-existent. It's a software, right? This will make sense to people who have seen my previous video or have a good, in-depth knowledge of virtualization. So this virtual machine, as I said, is connected to the internet and the hypervisor, which is obviously connected to your hard drive, HD, or SSD, whatever you're using. Uh, so that's basically that is the most basic overview of it. So let's create a new Let's create a new drawing. I don't want to save that drawing. It's quite embarrassing. So I want to show you guys how a virtual machine can actually be used as a proxy. So, or just a decoy, really. This is the internet, and this is going to be your virtual machine, and this is going to be your computer. So C, V, and you can connect your computer directly to the internet. You can connect your virtual machine directly to the internet. And this is your shared hard drive, which is shared among these two. I'm leaving out the hypervisor and OS part because those parts really are not necessary for now. We'll go one step at a time. So as you can see, you can run your virtual machine or your virtual machines and connect them to the internet as you can with your normal computer. But what happens is that you have a little hypervisor layer, which I should probably actually, well, not hypervisor layer. You remember that virtual hard disks the virtual hard disk that I mentioned in the previous video? Well, this is where it really becomes significant. So if a hacker or cybersecurity analyst or whatever wanted to track down how you're actually getting or wants to track down your computer, with a regular computer it's very easy. So they would just let's change the let's actually change the color here. They would just follow around here and get over here, no problem. They would just spot your computer, your IP address. With a few basic tools, they can get your operating system, and from there on out, they can potentially hack your hard drive if you're not secure enough. Now, a virtual machine can actually act as a proxy in a way that when they do try to track it down, they'll just end up with this hard drive, this virtual hard drive. And if the hypervisor isn't flawed in any way, there's theoretically no way that they can actually access your physical hard drive on your physical machine. In fact, they won't even know that it's a virtual machine that they're tracking down, because all they'll see is that there's a little computer connected to a hard drive that's connecting to their network. So they really won't know anything. It's kind of like a proxy that is sort of like a 100% guarantee. So, I mean, yeah. That's basically how it can be used as a proxy. It's pretty simple, really. Let's see what other things virtual machines can be used as. They could be used as decoys. You have the potential to create a botnet. And now this is where it starts becoming a little bit illegal, so I don't recommend doing this at all. But this is the internet. I'm going to use int, not for integer, but for internet. Some of you people who are actually taking AP computer science, like I am right now, might get this mixed up. And like, I don't know, for me at least, immediately when I see int, I think of integer, because I don't know, for us in my school, for AP computer science, we learn Java. That's a main part of it. Obviously other computer science stuff, but mostly Java. All right. So yeah. So what we can do is we can make a bunch of decoys. So this is your physical hard drive. Physical hard drive, PhD. And you have your computer over here, as usual. You can connect it to the internet if you want. I'm just not gonna for now. Just to show you guys that you don't actually need to have a connection between your physical computer and, I mean, like your Windows operating system and the internet to have virtual machines connected to the internet. At least for Type 2 hypervisors, which are like these. I'm going to get into Type 2 hypervisors just in a moment after I finish this, after I finish this whole thing. I'm actually going to write a note. type 2. So don't forget, because I don't have paper and pen with me right now. So, this is just a reminder, remember. And I mean, this is kind of type 2 as well. So anyway, I might be confusing you guys. So let's elaborate here. Oh, sorry, I don't need that. All right, so this is your hypervisor, and from the hypervisor you create a bunch of little virtual machines. VM, and the rest of these are also virtual machines. And you all have little virtual hard disks for each virtual machine. So, what can you do really? Well, you can get thousands of these if you have a powerful enough computer, and you can all tell all of them at the same time to send packets. So normally your computer would send 4 packets, right? Well, now imagine 1,000 computers sending 4 packets per second. So 4,000 packets per second essentially is what you're looking at. And if you get a fast enough network connection and a good amount of virtual machines pinging the same destination at the same time, or at least sending something to the destination at the same time, or trying to start a conversation, doing a UDP stream or TCP, something like TCP or something. Anything that will kind of overload the other side, you can do it with a virtual machine. So actually, a lot of botnets use virtual machines, and a lot of people just, instead of actually getting a botnet, just make the virtual machines themselves. Now that's kind of tedious because you're gonna actually have to clone a virtual machine like 500 times, you know. But a botnet is kind of simpler in that sense. There are different ways botnets work, but this is just one way. It's kind of the simplest way as well. And yeah, so as I was saying, your computer, your physical computer, your OS, Windows OS. By the way, I'm using Windows as like a sort of host operating system for this. I'm basically describing my own system right now, right? When I say my computer OS, which is right here, right? I mean the fact that I have this entire desktop and all of that, and I have a little hypervisor app on top of the operating system, on top of my operating system, that actually creates virtual machines. So you don't need to connect that to the internet to have these connect to the internet, because again, these are pretty much separate, isolated machines. You really don't need, you're not dependent on this, really. Alright, that's that. That's that. And I want to finish up this topic of virtual machines right now. I don't feel like making another video. So let's really quickly go over type 1 and type 2. Let's see, type 1 and type 2. So first off the bat, what I want to say is my networking plans, everything that I showed you so far, for networking at least, runs the same way. There is no difference between virtual machine properties in networks in type 1 or type 2. But the physical layout is kind of different. So for type 2, you have your physical hard disk, your PhD, and same thing here. So you always start with your system. All right, the PhD you can also say it's server. All right, so then you go up a level for type 2 at least, and you get up to your BIOS, and then that goes up to your OS. For me, it's Windows, obviously. And then that goes over to apps. Let's see, apps and hypervisors, which is virtual, which is VM VirtualBox. And then with hypervisors, you get a bunch of VMs. Yay. And then from VMs you can connect to internet and stuff. For a type 1 hypervisor, it's actually a little bit different. You go over to the BIOS as usual, but instead of progressing onto your OS, the hypervisor just immediately replaces the OS. So you have an H instead of an OS over here. And then from the hypervisor, instantly you can create a bunch of virtual machines. Hooray! So the main difference between Type 1 and Type 2 is that Type 2 hypervisors are actually based on top of your regular operating system, while Type 1 replaces your operating system, I guess you could say, place with itself, with the hypervisor, which you can make virtual machines on. But the networking part of it, the networking aspect, the fact that you cannot track back to your server's physical hard drive and stuff like that, that all still plays. So a few things we learned so far about virtualization is that it's secure, meaning that people cannot track back to your physical hard drive. There are two types of them, and they have the same uh, cloud computing capabilities as a normal physical computer. They can just buy at Best Buy for like $200. Thanks, guys, for watching. I think this episode was a little bit lengthy, but kind of worth it. I think I started at 3:03, now it's 3:21, so I better wrap this up quick. Thank you guys for watching. Go ahead and subscribe, like, share it with your friends. Comment down your questions and concerns below. I'll be sure to get to them as fast as I can, really. And until next time, I'd like to say goodbye. And, yep, see you guys. Bye.